On this episode of the Casually Human podcast, I have a chat with Joyce Musoke. Joyce is a screen, stage and voice actor. She won the Best Female Actor in a Supporting Role at the Kenya Theatre Awards 2024 and also won the Best Director at the WIFA Awards 2024. She is a seasoned artist whose skills and interests also spill into producing and definitely directing. Sasa, kwa wale wazee, you probably watched her on KTN's Better Days back in the day, and for the youngins, you probably know her as Lizzie on Showmax's Second Family. You probably saw her on Mpakani and Canal Plus's Crime and Justice. She's also the voice of Dizzy, the mad scientist on Twende, which is Showmax's premiere animation series. But if not in those, you probably caught her on a theatrical stage where she, according to at least this episode, she lets us know she loves the most. She was most recently on Prevail Presents Sanctuary with yours truly, Maze Tulijibamba. Maze, it was a good time. Thank you to all those who caught us on stage for Sanctuary. Anyway, Joyce and I sat, had a chat and drank some chai. We spoke about the balance between doing life, pursuing a career in the limelight, in between raising kids, personal growth, as well as finding and creating pockets of joy. Here's our conversation at the beautiful Sugar Bowl. Enjoy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kigondu Martin.
Good to see you. You come to Kuita Mrs.
Oh, wait. Mrs. Musoke? That sounds like a class 4 science teacher. But,
that has never happened?
It does, but I stop it quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very serious, and I don't think that's who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
This sunny, rainy afternoon.
Yeah.
Asante sana for taking time to just hang out and have a cup of tea.
Thank you.
Good. You've been here before at
Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
When was the last time you were here?
I think that it was a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Perhaps 2, in February, actually. Yeah, and I had it's called a fruity,
the fruity tea. Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't forgotten that.
Good. You want that? Today we have the pineapple mixed with herb for you.
I want the fruity.
You want the fruity tea? Yeah, fantastic. That can be arranged.
But afterwards.
Oh, Sisai.
I want to give it my full concentration.
Oh, good. So consider it done.
Okay.
Fantastic. Are you a sweet tooth is that you?
Not really.
Not really.
I'll pick chicken over chocolate any day.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I like the alliteration there, chicken over chocolate any day.
Too, by the way.
Yeah, this is a thing that you do. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you cook a lot, nyumbani?
I do. I do. I love cooking.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the process for you. Usijali, I'm trying to find a way in, and we are going there. Nasikuwa nataka tuingie na usanii kama kawaida. We are looking at these pockets of joy.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I think of chicken or chocolate, the first thing that hits me is definitely having those in a very good time. I don't know of a sad person eating chocolate somewhere.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a weird image. Someone crying na anakula kuku. Yeah? You know?
Okay.
So let's talk a bit about that. Is it a thing for you? Would you say it's one of the things you enjoy doing? Cooking, that is.
I do. I loved cooking.
Yeah.
Before I got a family.
Before you got a family.
And then it became a choice. No, you have to do it all the time. So now it's no longer a thing you do just based on inspiration or now you have to.
It's a thing you have to do.
And if you've ever fed toddlers, so like I don't. They pick out the tomato, they pick out the onion. They don't eat, and then it changes every week.
Yeah.
1 week I'm not eating potatoes. So it came down to very practical. So whereby before I was making like very experimental stuff. It got to a point where, the family grows, you have to now become practical.
Yeah.
And when I found myself with boiled githeri in the fridge in 2 packets, and I had boiled beans and I had boiled dengu, I was like, hiya.
You've become those people.
I become my mother. And then I thought I'd be that mom for cheesy things, stuff with cheese, sijui Alfredo sauce here, potato salad and stuff like that. I ended up being very practical, but now my kids are a little older, so I'm getting back into that more adventurous meals.
I like that. I like that, and I like that you've talked about that, because then I can split it into two. The first one is, the older you get, the things that you now do that seem to sort of remind you of your mother. Yeah. And two, parenting kids at this age now, because they are now teenagers, right?
Yeah, some. I have a mixed bag. Yeah.
Ah, fantastic. So we'll talk about that as well. So what is the last thing that you did besides Sasa the Githeri in the fridge that you thought, hey, now this is my mother?
I have a pumpkin in my fridge. Me. I have a pumpkin right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So besides food, is there?
Besides food?
Yeah.
I mean, I catch myself a lot of times, things, as I'm leaving the house, I'm like, na nisipate vyombo kwa sink. Okay. That voice sounds familiar.
This episode of Casually Human podcast with Martin Kigondu is brought to you by Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl is a casual, full-service dining restaurant featuring an inviting indoor and outdoor space with a fresh, unpretentious ambience with warm colors, perfect for intimate dinners, business meetings, and social gatherings. Their menu is strongly based off a continental cuisine enhanced with Mediterranean and Italian influences, so go check them out, maze. They are conveniently located at Shell Petrol Station in Spring Valley, Upper to Lower Kabete. So go check them out, have a good time, and tell them you were sent by Martin Kigondu from the Casually Human podcast. Let's get into it. Okay. So the disciplining...
The discipline, everything, yeah.
Good. Do you judge her less now?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not who I was before. There's so much more understanding now of what her state of mind was when we were growing up. So there's nothing but love, empathy, and a deep appreciation for what she was able to do.
Yeah. Especially back then with all the resource they had.
Exactly.
Probably not that much, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Joyce, we're looking at, we've just talked about what about our parents sort of we now appreciate as adults.
Yeah.
And, especially in your case now being a mother.
Yeah.
Of, and this tumesema teenagers thereabout. How old are your kids now?
I have a 15-year-old. I have a 13 going on 30. I have an 8-year-old.
Yikes. Okay. I'm curious about the gapping.
Yeah.
Is that intentional? Or it's by chance? Hapa ungetupatia theory how to go about it.
Some surprises in there, so yeah.
No, kana skiza number 8, 8-year-old. See where you are not a surprise. You are planned for. Yes. But anyway, what would you say in terms of personality and energy and choices is different between the 3 children, and how have you sort of improved as a parent by the time you're getting to number 3? Or what are you not worried about right now, comparing number 3 and number 1?
So personality differences. My firstborn is your typical firstborn, toes the line, obedient, ujituma yani. I never have to remind him to do anything. I never have to remind him to do his homework. Yeah, I mean, he's the poster child.
Okay.
Child number 2 is the lawyer. For why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Questions everything. But I mean, just brings so much life to everything. And we need those people who ask why, my firstborn is a very STEM kind of kid. plays chess for fun, does chemistry and physics and maths for fun. I think he might have been switched at birth because that's not me.
Has little to do with you.
That's definitely not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, very introverted. My daughter, the second born, is very artistic. I keep joking. I tell her sometimes I can't. I might not be able to recognize her without a pencil in her hand because she always has a pencil in her hand.
Okay.
She thinks with a pencil in hand or a knitting needle or a crochet or something. She's always constantly creating art. Yeah, and she's very inquisitive about stuff. You know, she'll have conversations with you
Yeah.
and ask you very tough questions. And we need those people.
Yeah.
And my baby, he's 8, but he's my baby. My last born is musical. He speaks music fluently. He loves the piano. He's a street smart kid, very social. I don't even like to walk with him in the estate because, you know, everyone's like, he speaks to everyone from the person, you know, from the cleaners to the watchmen. He knows everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a child who'll survive anywhere, for
That
sure.
sort of sounds like the father, right? He's taken up after the dad,
Interestingly,
right?
no.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in public, he gives off the personality of the more outgoing one.
Yeah.
And me, I play the more reserved, the quieter one. But when we're ourselves, I think I'm more outgoing than my husband, Yafesi.
Yeah.
If anything, the people who find him not in performance mode get thrown off.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, wait, we're used to the performer, the
Yeah,
clown, and
yeah.
you find him as himself and he's very chill.
Yeah.
And it throws a lot of people off.
I bet it does. I bet it does.
It does.
I want to spotlight the curiosities of, you know, the children, of
Yeah.
course, with a bias to the second one, but the children in general. And for those who don't know, just to put it in context, Joyce's husband is Yafesi Musoke, who's also another celebrated artist like she is, yeah? So in case you didn't know, you can Google Saizi as you're ordering the next meal. Anyway, yeah, so let's talk about the questions from the kids, yeah?
Yeah.
Because professionally, you are an artist, and so is Yafesi. But particularly to you, first of all, have there been cases where the children had questions in regards to a performance you had, or a choice around taking up a particular character, that they were either uncomfortable with the themes that they pursued, or the choices the characters took? And two, do you think about your kids when it comes to making professional choices going forward? Like, are there roles you'd be given and think, I have toys, maybe I wouldn't do that?
Okay, I did when they were younger, because at that point they couldn't separate what's reality and what's acting. I remember there's one commercial I did for DSTV, and it was a horror. So there was, you know, it was shot like a film. In fact, people thought it was a film. And I mean, I was really proud of my work, and I showed it to my kids, and they were terrified. So, yeah, that wasn't. So at that point, yes, I had to be careful. But now they understand that these are two different worlds. Mom at home and mom on screen. These are two different characters.
Yeah.
There's a cartoon they watch, and I play a villain.
In the cartoon.
And they're so jazzed, they're so happy. That
Yeah.
man is a bad guy. So
Yeah, and this is Twende.
that's Twende.
Yeah.
So I'm the villain's sidekick. Yeah, and a lot of my roles have been antagonistic of late, which I really love. Yeah, I'd been cast as victim, sweet, kamama for a long time, and yeah, it was time for a change. So of late, I've been given more antagonistic roles. And even my daughter the other day was like, Mom, why are they always giving you the bad woman roles nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're able to differentiate now, make the separation. So I feel freer to explore,
explore.
more
That's good.
diverse roles.
That's very, very good. Are there no-nos for you? Is there a no sort of theme? Are there themes that would be forwarded your way and you'd go, no, no, thank you?
I think so.
Okay.
Um, but sometimes for me, it's not even so much the theme. I think as a spirit behind the production, and if and I look at it from a bigger perspective, and where is this story going? So if there's redemption at the end of it, then I'm okay with it. So, and secondly, yes, the spirit of the production. There are productions I will be part of, and I'll just know these ones are going this way, and this is where their heart is, and I will bow out of that one.
Okay.
But if we don't align
Yeah.
in terms of values, but then if I'm just a cog in a machine that's going this way, and I agree with the direction, even though the cog is
Faulty.
is like this, is wishy-washy, but I can see where we're all going, and I agree with where you're going, then yeah, I'm happy to explore.
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes a skill, yeah, if not experience, to be at a place in your career where you're comfortable to say no, you know?
Yeah.
Is there a process for you before you tell them no? Because I'm sure this has happened before, yeah, where you've had to
Yeah.
say, like you've said, no. How do you go
Yeah.
about the disappointing the ones who've approached you for a project? And even worse, maybe saying no to a project that you've already started.
Okay, I have not said no to a project that I've already started of late.
Okay.
There's one I said no to a long time ago when we were just about to start rolling. And, now I've refined my way of saying no.
Okay.
I'll ask the questions before we start, because even as a producer, I know I don't want to inconvenience. I know how badly that can go, yeah? So I don't want to inconvenience you halfway through production. Yeah, so I'll try and do my homework as much as possible, and ask the necessary questions, and say my no as quickly and as early in the day as possible. Yeah.
Okay. And what is that? Is this an email? Is this an actual eye-to-eye conversation? Is it ghosting them?
No, it depends on who, really, and even how you've approached me. So yeah, it depends on who. I'll send an email, or I'll make a phone call, or I'll talk to you face to face and just tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if I value the relationship, I'll make an effort to at least, yeah.
Okay.
Make at least a face-to-face conversation if I value the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely an almost uncomfortable conversation, yeah?
Yeah.
And especially as artists who have built careers on just learning to, go with the flow. You get the
Yeah.
next gig, you're lucky.
Yeah.
You get the next gig, you're happy. So, like you said, appreciating the no is something else by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah? But on the other end, what about the power of approaching and asking to become part of? Have you found yourself in those spaces where you saw a good thing going on, probably a nice series, and thought it would be nice to? Or you thought of a concept and thought it would be nice to reach out to so and so to collaborate?
Yeah.
This is a skill set by itself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and this also puts you in a position of a producer. What's the most recent situation you remember where you had to sort of now reach out to people to create something going forward?
Even currently, right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, because excuse me, I'm working on something right now. So, and yes, it does need quite a bit of collaboration. So, yeah, that's the most recent one, as recent as, the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the reaching out, who are you looking at in terms of the types of people you want to work with? Is it the energy you want to create going forward? How do you
Yeah.
sort of, decide your way forward?
Uh, Previous relationships, I keep saying I'm a creature of habit.
Okay.
I almost always just recycle the people who've always said yes to me. Yeah, who I know, I mean, their hearts and their minds are open already to whatever I'm going to propose. So there's that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's who that's my first go-to.
Creature of habit.
Creature of habit.
Creature of habit. You sort of, and we see this even in Hollywood, where you'd see Robert De Niro sort of working with the same producers, same directors, even locally. I guess Martin Kigondu will always work with Joyce Musoke. Mi natafuta job next. So that was me plugging. So unajua, I'm a creature of habit.
Okay.
So me but your job now the same people. Hala.
Well played, well
Hala.
played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is joy important to you?
Yes.
Is, and I don't know how you describe joy for you, but going and creating spaces where a sense of joy is that
Yeah.
important to you? As long as we're getting paid?
No, not at all. In fact, I have such compartments. I protect the joy compartment so much. I don't want it contaminated. Yeah, I was actually having a conversation with Robert, who's in the audience, just a few minutes ago. And I found that it's important for me to put my platforms in compartments. And the platforms that give me money, most of the time, platforms that I can be objective and rational about, those pay my bills. And then there are the platforms that I do purely for the joy of it, and those I will protect, because when there is a mishmash, when one bleeds into the other, sometimes I find, let me speak for myself, that there's a bit of resentment because you're expecting one thing to do so much for you, and you're expecting it to give you joy, you're expecting it to give you money, you're expecting it to grow you, and then it's a lot to ask of one thing. So for me, I just find it tidier to have this thing that I can be rational about and I can be objective about, and I don't mind spending my time on the Excel sheets with this one. And this other thing, especially with art, I find it's like that a lot. Art needs some kind of freedom, some kind of let's go with the flow. And that doesn't work with Excel sheets, with the money. It doesn't work. Those are two very different mindsets.
Yeah.
So I allow myself to an arena to play and to have joy and to grow and to heal in this other space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are very powerful words. Those are very powerful words, especially when you're thinking of career.
Yeah.
Because Maze, a lot of our friends, you'd look around and they're not, say, in an industry of choice. There is a lot of lack of joy in the things they have to do. They have to do.
Yeah.
So I like the words freedom. I like, again, joy. Now,
Can I give you
Jump in.
an example?
Please.
My sister taught me to bake, my older sister. And she was so good at pastries. And I mean, it even just became a thing we used to do. So she'd try out baking and, she'd try out a new recipe. And yeah, I mean, it was contagious because that's how I learned how to bake at a very young age. And it was a thing that gave her so much joy. And, as she went along, it's turned into a business. At some point, someone says, you're really good at this, why don't you monetize it? And she did. But then she found herself spending more time, again, on the Excel sheets rather than in the kitchen, no longer with the sultanas and the eggs and all that.
Where her joy is.
where her joy is.
Yeah.
And do you know she does not bake anymore? I cannot ask my sister to bake a cake for me now. No, she's done. Because then it turned into, admin, dealing with clients, managing, managing the ins and outs of a business. So she's kind of lost both. And now she's doing something totally different. Yeah, so
Yikes.
and I know this is unpopular opinion because the spirit of the age, the zeitgeist is that you should monetize your craft. And there's truth to that, but I think that's not the whole picture. There's a place for joy.
There is a place for joy. Are you afraid, low-key, that this could happen to you in this career of choice?
That?
You'd be required to do the gig for so long that joy disappears? The acting, the producing, the writing, the directing. You do a lot.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
So you see, as I said, I've compartmentalized.
Okay.
So there are spaces I know will chokesha me. And producing is one of them.
Yeah, producing sucks.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I feel like I have to do. It's like doing the dishes.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do them, but somebody has to do them.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
balance.
it's there's space also for getting tired with it. Yeah. But then I've protected this other thing, especially for me, that takes the form of stage, and it takes a form of film, not TV.
Yeah.
Film. So film for me is I kind of protect it. TV, that one we can have a money conversation with, and I keep saying this too. I'm infatuated with, so I can't be rational here. I know you call me for a role, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and then later on is when I'm like, but they don't really
We didn't ever spoke about the money.
yeah, it's
yeah, and this is.
And I've just accepted that that's who I am.
Yeah.
So make room for my madness, and this is my space within these boundaries.
Yeah.
I'll
Theater,
play.
film, that is where the joy is.
Yeah.
TV, let's do it for the gig.
Mimi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aya, I'm fascinated by this idea of looking for joy and also creating joy, yeah?
Yeah.
And we've seen the family space. We've looked at career space, yeah?
Yeah.
What about you, Joyce? Just, I don't know if you're able to split and have, najua, Joyce without these things, but are you intentionally also trying to create joy for you, just for your spirit, for the sake of joy? And if this is the case, what are you doing? Are you, I don't know, solo dates and stuff?
I do. I do the solo dates. I do solo trips every so often. Yeah, but that's also just to hear myself think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mostly it.
Okay, so it's not
Yeah.
in search for joy, it's just to...
No, it's in search of. I'm usually just out to hear myself think without being asked for yogurt, and I don't know who has punched who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what comes up, to intrude sana, but when you just settle and let your thoughts roam in this sense of freedom and being free out there, what is
Yeah.
coming up? What thoughts are there?
Sometimes it's just rest.
Okay.
And I think that's also the best place to create. You create from a place of rest sometimes. Yeah. And there's just clarity on some things, some ideas perhaps you've been toying around with. You just have some clarity. You can see maybe the next 3 or 4 steps. Yeah.
Good. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Family, career, discovering joy, finding joy. My last question for you this afternoon, and whenever you're listening to the podcast, how would you define happiness for you, now as an adult?
Yeah.
After a day and you're like, that was a really good day, I'm happy.
Yeah.
What would that look like for you? How does that look like for you?
Okay. Productivity gives me a high. It makes me
Okay.
happy. Yeah, when you've ticked things off your list. However, I'm also learning that we shouldn't let it we shouldn't let happiness be so informed by external things. That's a lesson for me, because how my day goes really affects me heavily. So I'm trying to learn not to be so affected by external factors. This come and this go, but then just kind of build the internal capacity to just maintain an internal balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sense of equilibrium.
Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Balance is nice. And I hope and I pray
Yeah.
and I want this for you, a lot of pockets of joy
Yes.
and a lot of happy days.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't even get to drink the tea, Maze, but we
didn't.
will. But we will. Thank you very much, Joyce,
Thank you.
for the afternoon
Yeah.
and for this conversation.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joyce Musoke.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
On your next visit to Sugar Bowl, treat yourself to the vibrant ruby red blend that combines the sweetness of mixed fruits with a delicate hint of aromatic spices. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fruity tea. A delightful aroma wafts up, offering a fruity smell, while the first sip bursts with refreshing sweetness, quenching your thirst and leaving you with a cozy warmth from within. The fruity tea is perfect for any time of the day, and we recommend it iced or hot. And that's it for this episode of Casually Human Podcast with Kigondu. Until next time, stay dope out there, Maze. You can check us out and recommend to your friends on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and definitely on the YouTube. As for me, I'm at Kigondu on all different social media platforms, at KIGONDUW. And as a podcast, we are at casually_humanpod_ on IG. And you can check us out on Twitter, you can check us out on TikTok and every other platform that we exist on. Usijali, I'll go articulating where we are, then you can share. Till next time, peace.